Okay, I'm
Got
just
that.
plugging my earbuds here.
Okay. So Professor, do you need me to share the screen or you can share the screen?
Um, I think you're probably fine for now.
Okay. So let me go to reflection. Okay, got that. So can everyone see this? Professor, can you see this screen? So I just make it larger. Okay, got that.
Yeah, sure can. Yeah. First of all, we have Chris. Hi, Chris, and Rose. Rose, do you have a video there?
No, I don't have a camera.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, good. Anyway, it's good to have you on the call. So I was looking over in anticipation of our discussion tonight. I was looking over let me get my other screen here, and I was looking over the discussion threads on Piazza. And it's been, for some of you, your response to this unit has been about 10 days ago, so it's been a little while ago. There's a question that came up. This is in regard to question number 3, which talks about the set and the map. Yeah, you've got it here. Talks about the set and the map operations. And I just wanted to launch off, and we can come back and talk specifically about these different questions, but I just want to launch off and talk a little bit about why, why these reflections are the way they are. But the thread, particularly on question 3 that I was reading, talks about background and students' background. And some of the concepts that we're getting across and they're fit for students' background. So since we have 2 students on here, you are going to be our canonical online students for the purposes of the discussion. Give me a sense of for both of you, give me a sense of your background. Chris, if you can start.
Okay, can you hear me?
Can hear you just fine. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. I have spent 24 years in developing software. I worked first as a software engineer. I've been working as a software architect for about a decade. I do not have a formal computer science education, but in the course of my work and through my external reading, I have certainly gotten an informal computer science education.
Okay, good. Thank you. Looks like we have a couple other people here. I'm trying to find the attendance list here, but that may take me a moment to get that to show up. Rose, would you like to give a little bit? Oh, Chris, where are you located?
I am located near Charleston, South Carolina. So I had fun about a week ago fleeing Hurricane Matthew.
Yeah. So Charleston got hit pretty bad, didn't it?
It did. And I was a bit late in submitting my reflections as a result of that, but all is well. My home was safe.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. My goodness. Yeah, no, a lot of flooding there. Okay, let me see. So we've got Ramji and Brent. Rose, would you like to go?
Sure. So I'm Rose Brandolino. I'm from Phoenix, actually. And my background has been almost 30 years in primarily telecommunications. For most of my career, I'm a retiree of AT&T, well, who is now AT&T, actually. It's just been within the past few years that I was primarily telecommunications, hardware, networking, those areas of IT. And just within the past few years, I've transitioned over into more cloud, some software, and now learning data science and analytics and so forth. And I currently work for IBM though, so it's a great environment for me to learn and in my employment as well. So
Great, good, excellent, thank you. Brent Matthews.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you fine. Hi.
Hi, my background is in civil engineering. I am a civil engineer, worked in the industry for about 11 years now. I work for the Wisconsin Department of Transportation doing traffic, actually supervise our traffic section, which oversees work zone design, traffic safety issues, and then just regular operational concerns, speed limit type things right now. So I'm trying to, I guess the goal of me getting in this program is to expand my horizons and possibly open up another field of future employment. So
Excellent. Are you in Madison?
No, I'm actually in Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Right in the middle of the state. I work in one of our regional offices.
Good. I grew up in Milwaukee.
All right.
All right. I love the Midwest. All right. How about, let me see. So how about Ramji?
Hi, this is Ramji. I currently live in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I have had a formal education in computer science and engineering. I did my bachelor's in India about 7 years ago. And after that, I have been working as a enterprise consultant, mainly dealing with large organizations, messaging, web services, those kind of stuff. And since about January this year, I have just quit my job so that I can get my master's done. So I'm here in the US and now in the program. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, wonderful. Good. Let me see. Jeff Ladeau, please introduce yourself. And we're basically focusing on, for those of you who joined a little bit late, I'm leading up to a discussion that I want to have about how we're structuring the course. That was triggered off of a comments on the question 3 of this unit 6 that everybody's been discussing over the last week or so. So Jeff, please, Ladeau.
Yes, I am Jeff Ladeau. I'm originally from Ohio. I moved to Utah just in the past month or so. I was a teacher for 2 years. I taught elementary school for 1 year and I taught middle school for another year. I have no experience in programming and I have this little guy to help me out.
I saw that, yeah.
I currently am a stay-at-home dad, so this is my full-time job right now, and I'm doing my master's as well.
Excellent. Okay, good. And when you were teaching, what classes were you teaching?
My first year, I taught 4th and 5th grade math and science, and then in my second year, I taught a class called Focus. It was a 7th grade class, and it was all about teaching students basically how to use the computer for Word documents, Excel, and that kind of stuff.
Okay, very good. Good, thank you. Good, yeah, your little guy is cute. Okay, Thomas, please introduce yourself.
My name is Thomas Hogger. I actually live in South Carolina as well. I'm at the other end of the state in Rock Hill. We didn't get really hit by the hurricane. We just had everybody up here staying in the hotels and stuff. But my background is more of the analytic wing. I have worked for the U.S. Census Bureau, and during the redistricting process here in South Carolina, I ran the map room for the South Carolina House of Representatives and drew the districts with all the representatives and helped them get all their demographic information and all that. Demographics is where my big background is in. I've got a master's in geography from San Diego State, and this is my second master's. I'm originally actually from Indiana, but working on this now, and I now work for the Charlotte Department of Transportation. I maintain their street maintenance database, and then run a bunch of statistics to try to, we've got 26,000 segments of road in the city, trying to evaluate which segments we should repave each year because we can only repave about 3% of our streets each year. So we want to make sure we maximize our dollars as much as possible. So that's
Okay. Okay. See, very good. So tell me again, your undergraduate degree was in what?
My undergraduate degree is in geography, and my other master's is also in geography.
Geography. That's okay. I picked up the geography in the master's. Okay. Excellent. Good. Okay. And let me see. So Mark.
Hi.
Mark McComb.
Yep, sorry, I was on mute there. Mark McComb, I live in Springfield, Mass. My undergraduate degree is in finance. I have a master's in computer information systems. I've worked in IT for 15 years or so, largely with, worked a lot with relational databases.
Excellent. Good. Thank you.
Sure.
Joseph Gettinger.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, sorry I don't have a camera. I'm out of the office at a conference and I'm using a work device that doesn't have a camera. I got my undergraduate degree in history, actually, but then I professionally went into database management. I started out in an admissions office, mainly doing data analysis and institutional research, but then I grew to manage the admissions module of the student information system, which is a relational database that we use to organize all the student records. I also manage the CRM for the admissions office, and I recently switched employment. I'm with at the University of Notre Dame. I run audits on the student information system, making sure all the grades are there. It's a relational database, so I use SQL queries to run those audits.
Excellent. Thank you. Just up the road from us. Good.
Correct.
All right. Good. Let me see. Carlos.
Okay. Hi. Good afternoon. So I have an undergraduate degree in engineering, and I have a master's from LSU in system science. I took classes with Dr. Peter Chen. A lot of you may know him. It was exciting because that's one of the main reasons why I got into databases, was because of the ANSI relationship modeling, and that was really cool to take classes with him. And I have worked as a programmer for many years, and for the past 10 years, or actually 16 years, I have been working with ERP systems, specifically PeopleSoft, and I manage projects. I've been managing projects for quite some time now.
Great. And where are you right now, Carlos?
I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there anything, great, thank you. And is there anybody else that joined us who's not introduced themselves?
Hello, this is Nicholas.
Hello, Nicholas.
Hello.
I can hear you just fine. Mm-hmm.
I'm located in Paraguay in South America, actually outside the US. I have a bachelor in computer science. I have been working in telecom for 8 years now. Initially working as in data warehouse, and now I moved more to the commercial side, but still working a lot with analytics, still running SQL queries and working with the segmentation and BI team in churn prediction and other type of analytics. So that's my background.
Excellent. So where in South America are you? I didn't catch it.
In Paraguay.
Paraguay.
Paraguay,
Okay,
South.
excellent.
Yep.
Great. Okay. Excellent. Is there anyone else that's on?
Hey, Beth, this is Krishna. I'm located in Georgia.
Okay.
I'm actually from India. I have a bachelor's degree in electronics and communication. And after that, post that, I've been working in IT industry for almost 13 years now. I'm into mainframe application development.
Excellent. You said Macon, huh?
Yeah, Macon, Georgia.
You are deep in the South. I spent quite a bit of time at Georgia Tech, so I like the South quite a bit. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, anybody else? Okay, looks like that. Yeah, so this is good. I mean, and thank you all for introducing yourselves. You're quite spread out in terms of where you are geospatially. So the conversation, pulling back around to the conversation that was on Piazza about the the particular reflection, and particularly this question number 3, which you has put up. And we don't need to go into a discussion of it, unless people want to. And there may be other questions that are a little, maybe a little better to a larger discussion, though I think the topics have been well covered by many people already on the threads. So, but one of the topic that came up on question number 3 was about the content and the concepts, and how the concepts could be difficult to grasp, maybe in their entirety, and I just wonder if this isn't a function of Piazza. And I just wanted to open this up to your discussion, because it came up in this particular unit, in this amongst you all. So when we do these reflections, and I've said this before, but the semester is 15 units, roughly a unit a week. The unit gets released on Tuesday, you watch videos, you participate in the discussion on Monday, you submit the thing Monday night, and then the next week it does the same thing all over again. So it just repeats 15 times, with the exception of the project. We'll come back to the project. Within each one of those weeks, and this is why I like this flipped format, is unlike a regular graduate classroom that you're, excuse me, a graduate classroom that we find ourselves in, I think, too often, where there's a midterm and a final. We're throwing away the midterm and the final, and we're providing opportunities every week for feedback. And that's why the word reflection is there, so that for every unit, there's some kind of reflection, and that reflection allows one to kind of interpret what they're learning and apply it in some way. The modes of reflection are 3. One of them is an assignment, and this is where you submit something through Canvas. The second one is, there's a multiple choice, set of questions you answer, online in the edX framework. And then the third one is this discussion forum, where we use the group as a whole to discuss things. And the course as a whole covers data pipelines. It covers the concepts behind NoSQL stores, goes a little bit into data trust and data quality, and some of the ethical issues around data. That's it. And it does so at what I would consider a fairly high level. So I would consider this more of an introductory course, because, like we're doing right now when we go through the distributed file systems, we're just kind of hitting on the beginning part of that survey paper. It's an older paper, so some of the examples aren't relevant, but we're just kind of hitting on some of those topics, talking about where some of these issues like caching come in, and fault tolerance and replication. And part of this, again, is just to make you familiar with the vocabulary, so that when someone says, what are the differences between NoSQL stores and relational databases, you understand their distributed dimension and how that impacts their uptake and their use. With this particular lesson, it dives into relational databases and compares those to, one NoSQL store in each of the categories we learned about in the Fowler video, and tries to do this using a common example, because then you can actually see the manifestation. What we found and the intention, again, is to, these questions are to just challenge you a little bit, to say, okay, you challenge what you've learned instead of just taking it in. And that was the point of the reflection. And then putting it online as a discussion on Piazza was an opportunity to give people, a chance to weigh in on the topic. I thought some of the, especially, with the question number 1, some of the, I think Ramji pointed out the projection feature, and then someone else came back, and I think it was Mark maybe, or Dimitri came back and said, that projection feature may not be useful given the way the data are laid out. And I think all that is good, But what we are seeing, though, is the people that know the subject are diving in really deeply. And I guess what I wanted to talk to you about it, and also to get your sense on, is, just because there are some people on the discussion that are diving deeply doesn't mean that it's a requirement for the whole class to dive deeply with them. It's just a manifestation of the breadth of expertise we're seeing in this class. I mean, there are 97 students in this class, and we're going to see a breadth of expertise, and it's going to come out in some of the organizational aspects, some of the experience we're seeing, some of the technical background we're seeing, and it comes out. So that I consider a very good thing, but it shouldn't make people feel uncomfortable that just because the topic has now turned into, discussions of, low level memory utilization, that is now the topic of the course. So let me just stop here. We're small enough here that people can just pipe up and talk instead of using chat. So I guess I would like to hear people's thoughts on their interpretation of how these Piazza discussion forums are going, and are they accomplishing the goal of allowing you to reflect on the content that we're conveying without, like I say, without making you feel like you've got to learn everything that everybody says. So let me just open it up for conversation here.
One thing I really like about it is, since I don't have the computer science background, being able to read a lot of these deeper discussions, I've actually picked up a lot from watching from reading the Piazza stuff that I wouldn't have learned, especially, some of the stuff Chris posts, for an example. I mean, I've learned a lot from that, and that's been a great learning tool for me. I mean, I knew taking this course I would have a big learning curve, but it's something that I need to learn for my career going forward, because these are the skills I don't have and they're the skills I want to obtain. So I think it's wonderful. I might not put as much writing feedback from my end on it, or I might have a question here or there, or I might even say something that doesn't even make sense on these boards. But the good thing is I have the opportunity to learn from them, and I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, no, and thank you for that. Yeah, and that reminds me, and I think there was one comment about Peng Chen, who's now at Instagram. I think he graduated with his PhD last year, and he's now gone. But there's some comment about, well, Cassandra now supports a certain function that it didn't before, and So anyway, I found that quite informative. By the way, I should say that as a course, we're not teaching MongoDB versus Neo4j versus Redis or whatever. We're dropping down and trying to cover concepts instead, just for that reason. These models, these systems move so very, very quickly. So somebody else, please pop up.
So this is Carlos. I like the discussion, and I try to. I do feel like I learn from seeing others' responses. Like, for example, a good example. In this reflection for question 1, my initial reply was MongoDB. It was just kind of automatic, right? And then I saw everybody put Cassandra, and I'm like, whoa. I could be wrong here. And then I really had to study a lot more and really go through the material a second time and look at it deeper, And I ended up settling with MongoDB. And then what I think I would like, if at all possible, is to see what your answers would be, or the TA's answers would be, so that in the end we also get some, or even if there was some rubric that could be made available to us, and to kind of give us an idea of the level that you want the answers, what must be there, and also at the end, if we could know what you guys think. I think that would be very beneficial.
Okay, no, that is a good point. In some of these, and I'd also point out that some of these are more open-ended. So just by, giving an opinion, and it would be with respect to what's given in the unit, what's given in the lecture, that's not the final story here. So we can certainly weigh in, but
but I always end up curious, what would Professor Plale reply to this, or the TAs, what would be their take on this? Because I'm sure you guys know about this, more, or have thought about it more, even regarding the case itself that you presented to us. So
okay, yeah, no, and I'm happy to, yeah. Again, yeah, no, I will. I'll certainly weigh in on the questions. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things that should come out, though, is the data set that was put up is very much a portion of a much larger data set. So, so what might be a good answer for, for the one question, particularly with respect to what is the best platform, might be one answer for the data set as it was shown to you, and another answer for the full data set that you weren't shown. But anyway, but yes, okay, yeah, no, point well taken. Would somebody else like to weigh in?
Yeah.
This is Helen. I would just to add to that I agree with Carlos. It would be very nice to know what you're thinking about it. But in the situation when you expect no right answer, it would be nice to comment on the question so we know that it's just for us, for our benefit, to discuss it and just present our ideas for the question. Thank you.
I'm sorry, say the last part again, Helen?
So if there is a question, you pose the question that does not have any right or wrong answers, just provide the comments on this question that it's just for our benefit, to discuss it, to present any ideas that we have about this situation. Because I noticed that a lot of people posting some additional links, additional information. It's extremely valuable. We can learn from it, but when we know that there is a right answer, it's completely different story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying be clear about that up front also.
Yes, it would be nice to have it.
Other thoughts? Somebody else was started to step in?
Yeah, Chris Falter here. In my opinion, there's no such thing as a completely right or completely wrong answer to these questions. I think there are well-supported answers and poorly supported answers. But my experience in software engineering and software architecture indicates to me that it all depends is often the correct answer. And there are many, many factors that go into a decision. And so just the ability to understand what the factors may be and to give some sort of indication about what direction might be appropriate under certain circumstances, and to give the reasons for that is probably going to end up being a pretty good answer, even if under different circumstances a different answer might be better. And